What up? What up? Alright, so MWC just happened, and of course, the stars of the show are LG G5 and Samsung Galaxy S7 and S7 Edge. I like the S7 Edge better, bigger screen. 5.1 is just a little too small for my liking. So, let me get the bad out of the way real quick. So, in my opinion, the big bad is the fact that both of them have an SD card this year, and both of them chose to just take out adaptable storage, which was one of the biggest deals about Android Marshmallow, and they both finally have phones now with Marshmallow. I guess the Edge G4 did have it, S6 some places, but why did they both take them out? I mean, and the part that pisses me off is that there are people defending this decision, talking about, so these are the reasons that they give to defend. Is the fact that people are going to use SD cards that are too slow and it's going to hinder the experience. From what I know, software experience from the Samsung and LG are pretty bad. I know because I had the G4 and it was terrible. And my friend had the V10, he also had a terrible experience. Practically everyone that I knew that had the G4, which was about like 5 people, all had terrible software experiences. Samsung's on the same boat. S6 and Note 5 had terrible RAM issues. I mean, the S6 had you could only have like 5 apps open at a time before it would reload. The Note 5 would get to maybe like 10 or 11. So software wise, they suck anyway. But I get it. There are SD cards that will be too slow, and guess what? Android tells you if you use an SD card that's too slow, it tells you it's slow and it might hinder performance. So what do? If you want to use that feature, you buy a better SD card. Why take the option away? Just leave it. If they want to use it, they use it. If they don't know about it, they don't know about it. But it's such a good feature. The part that makes me mad more is that the fact that LG so far, I believe, is only offering 32 gigabytes. If you're gonna take that feature away, we already know you can do a phone with 64 gigabytes because the V10 64 gigabyte and a micro SD card. But this time you went down to 32, and then you took away an option that would help out with storage. So that was the bad there. That's really the only thing that upset me. Otherwise, it's time to pick a winner. In my eyes, the LG G5 won, but I'll get to that afterwards. The S7 and S7 Edge. I'm happy that Samsung made the phone thicker, bigger batteries, and waterproof. So that's nice. They never added any type of waterproofing to their device unless it was like the S6 Active or the S5 Active or one of those phones. So I'm glad to see that they made their premium phones waterproof. So that's a nice addition there. I like that they improved the camera, but the camera is going to be good regardless. And then the G5. G5 won. I think the S7 Edge is going to be the best phone overall. But the G5 is the most exciting one because it's doing something new. It's gone modular, and I think that's great. It added something new to the table, and LG finally changed their design. They were able to keep their fan base happy and keep the removable battery. They're the only ones with it, and they did it with a metal body, which is really awesome. So they kept that, and they were modular. And some people are making fun of one of the modules, the front that they call it, the camera one, because it gives it a hump. And they're comparing it to like how Apple had that terrible battery accessory. And I'm like, yo, that's apples and oranges, man. That is. When it comes to battery cases, there are many cases out there that does it way better than the Apple one and look way better. So there's things to compare. This one, the only comparison that you have is like Sony had that little clip on, which if you have that, you have to take it off every time. It's definitely not gonna fit in your pocket. Then you have the Samsung when they try to make the hybrid from the Galaxy camera, they called it. I forget but they had one that was a phone and a camera, and it was bulky, ugly, huge. This is much better than that. Yes, it adds bulk to the device, but the bulk actually helps. Not only do you get extra battery life, you also makes the phone way easier to use one-handed. Not something I would need, but if you take a lot of pictures or if you find yourself having only one hand to use, it's an awesome accessory, and you get added battery life out of it. Could you try zooming in on those phones with one-handed? You're not gonna zoom in pretty easily. I mean, you might have like a third-party app or whatever that can zoom in, maybe just with the touch on the screen. But now you have the buttons. You have a button to launch the camera, You have a button for the zoom. You have a button to take a picture. It makes life simpler. So it's not a gimmick. It is innovation. You Samsung. I think it's the Samsung fans. Honestly, I think there's a lot of them, and they just hate to see anybody do better than them. They're butthurt. I think Samsung played it safe. LG went a little wild and did something new, and I can congratulate them for that. And it's why they got my attention. I'm thinking about picking one up. I'm not sure which one. Right now, it's LG G5 is the winner, but my experience with the G4 was so bad that I don't even. I don't like skin phones. I hate them with a passion. Um, I just hate them, and I don't think pricing is out yet. So, but it looks like Samsung's still gonna be pretty expensive, and it looks like, well, we don't know about LG yet. LG has been a little bit more competitive lately, so pricing might factor into it. You know, if it's a better deal with the G5, why not? It's the phone that I like better anyway. So, anyways, the last thing I want to talk about, what was it? So, talked about. Yeah, in terms of the camera, definitely the S7 and S7 Edge, they probably are going to win because G4 already had a good camera and they didn't really mess with it. They kind of just made it so that you can take larger pictures. That's cool. Whatever. But yeah, I think that's it. What are your guys' thoughts on the event? Which phone do you like better? And I don't know. Help me out. Which phone do you think I should pick up? Which phone would you like me to look at to actually play around with? I really do hope that it's really gonna come down to software in my eyes. Like between those two phones, it's gonna come down to software. From my experience with both Samsung and LG, their software just doesn't last. It can be good for a couple of weeks, couple of months, but somewhere down the line, it's gonna go to crap. And then, or you have the case where you the finally have an update, like they go from lollipop to marshmallow or whatever, and suddenly the phone goes to crap. The phone just stops working. A lot of G4s right now on marshmallow are not working. So yeah, I love stock Android. I think everybody should go stock Android. Ignore so that way they can just focus on improving the software, making the experience better. Let Google handle it. Like, why go out of your way to take out a feature that's baked into Android? So let me guys know what your thoughts are, and I'll see you guys in the next one. So I remember what I want to talk about. So the last thing I want to talk about was the always on display. So Motorola made this popular, what, 3 years ago? And they so far still have done the best job. They have found a way to make notifications awesome, to make notifications fun, to make them intuitive, interactive, and just a little bit different. Very sleek, very useful. Now Samsung and LG finally come to the party. Google already did with Ambient Display, which sucks, and they haven't updated it at all since they brought it on with the Nexus 6. So that I don't know why they did that. If you can add a feature, at least update it. Put it in the Play Store. Like, just put it in the Play Store, especially with Google. I'm not sure why, but you know what? Google does a lot, and if it wasn't for Google, then I wouldn't be here, and I wouldn't have all these phones that I enjoy. So I'm gonna cut them some slack. Now let's talk about Samsung and LG. Both of them, especially Samsung. Samsung has a lot of resources, a lot of people working for them. They can ask the questions, they can get answers, they can do things, and yet this always on display is literally just on. So like when your phone is sitting on the table, it's on. When you pull it out of your pocket, it's on, and it'll show you like the date. I think LG has it where you can put a calendar or you can write a note, so you can change what shows up on there. But it's not interactive. You don't press it or anything. I'm not sure if your notifications will show up or not, but literally it just sits there. It's always on. So your $700 phone, whatever price they come out with, literally acts like a watch now. So you can throw away your watch because your phone now has an always on display. Yeah. So in my eyes, that was pretty damn lazy, and I wish they would have done something better with it. Other than that, LG came out this year, did a good job. Samsung played it safe again. All this virtual reality stuff, I'm not really into that yet. I think it'll get better. It's getting better, but that's the thing. Samsung was able to stay away from the USB Type C just so they could make it so that the new Samsungs would work with the old VR headsets. And I'm glad that LG bought the USB Type C. Definitely a good move on their part, and I could see that being definitely useful. So yeah, so give me your thoughts on the event. Which one do you like better, Samsung, LG? Do you like the always on display, or do you think they could have done better? I hope that they put it on the Play Store at least, so that way they can update it. Alright, for real this time.